So thank you, Sarah, for the yip there. There's one yip.
It's Alex, actually.
You can't tell Alex's yip from Sarah's yip.
Oh, okay, I do beg your pardon, Alex. No, it's hard to tell, of course, I'm via telephone.
Anyway, get on with
So first of all, item 13, the release of the car parks in Swanson Street. As the City Vision members of the board have been very proactive in encouraging public transport, other means of travel rather than petrol-driven cars, and have supported the removal of car parks throughout the city, it would be hypocritical to not release these car parks. It said that one car park could be left for people with disabilities, but the car parks have never been offered to John Elliott, Bill Brewer or myself, who all have mobility parking. I've given a map there of where the disabled car parks are, and there are 4 close by to the board offices, so there's no reason that they can't be used by people. So I invite you to be fiscally responsible, particularly in these uncertain times, and agree to the motion at item 13. So moving along, I'd like to talk about the proposed loop track at Western Springs Forest. The access to this loop track comes off the walking track, down the vehicle track that was used for construction, and then to down the steep hill along one of the watercourses along the valley. These watercourses are extremely sensitive and they haven't been removed to the shape that they're supposed to be at. This is a significant ecological area, and to be spending money on a loop track would be far better spent on trees and for bringing back the birds. So I think it's fiscally irresponsible, particularly in these uncertain times, to put in additional works to what is already blown out, according to Todd Nile from Stuff, has already blown out $1.8 million. When the carnage was caused by this excessive amount of chip and excessive amount of clearing, which is 22% of the overall site, but it's but on the removal of trees, it's more like a third, but I've done a calculation of the overall site. But when that happened, the planting, which occurred in chip, as you can see, has only been done in the fully barren area. The intention of the planting in the ecological management plan was for that planting to be throughout the forest to be able to create a new canopy. That hasn't been done. It's been only put into that small. Between the visits that I had onto the first planting day and the second planting day, trees marked with an X on them had been cut down, and on the page there that is just trying to see what page it is, page 4, there's a photograph of our ecologist rolling a piece of trunk that had been cut, and the photograph next to it you can see the devastation of extra trees that have been unnecessarily felled. I've got to say that the item in the agenda where it set out the advantages of option 2 over option 1 was incredibly biased, and that if you decide that you are going to send this out for consultation, I highly suggest that it is written in a far less biased manner, and I'm more than happy to help add to that. I've had a phone call this morning from one of the residents who was walking up the track and nearly by a cyclist who was coming down the existing walking track and just going for it, bouncing down the stairs and nearly collided into her. Another friend of mine who's an avid cyclist said that going down that hill you could easily get up to 35 kilometres per hour. So this loop track will end up being taken over by cyclists as well as walkers if you decide to put it in, and up being blood if they're going to race down these hills like has occurred yesterday to this person that I know. I draw your attention to the 2007 article where mountain bikers set up tracks, which started the whole protection that I was then involved in from 2014. I also bring your attention to the area that has been jerry-rigged with a log against the to hold up unstable fill, which is Orchard. Yes, thank you, and is likely to be I beg your pardon, you caught me part of the sentence, is likely to wash out. I think that putting this budget into more planting would be a much better use of the budget, and to not even spend the money in putting this out to consultation to show you and your acknowledgement that this has been a completely diabolical mess in this project. And in this, I also call your attention to the latest Ponsonby News, which has only been online, my article on No Excuse for Abuse, which talks about the Western Springs process, and the fact that Martin and Jay decided that they wanted to put me on the cover.
Nice picture too, Gail. Okay, so we're now got members. Any questions from members?
I want to know who whistled.
Sarah Trotman, I thought you looked fabulous on the front cover.
Thank you so much.
It's totally inappropriate for me to have whistled. My apologies. In fact, I'm not going to apologise. You looked wonderful.
No, it is totally inappropriate to whistle.
Right?
That would have been, everyone would have known I'm totally inappropriate. Okay, any questions?
I know that Gail won't mind. Look, I do have a question, but I also have an apology. I sent you an email that was intercepted by council with the No Excuse for Abuse signature on the end of it, and I sincerely apologise for that. I've had feedback from 5 different constituents very upset that I've done that, but they think I've put that on my emails, but in fact they were adopted by council and they're addressing that. But I think it is important to ask you in particular, Gail, because I know you've had a very disappointing response to your privacy breach complaint. Could you just elaborate for us a bit more on the impact that you triggering of those signatures? Because I know you've had them from other people as well.
No, this is not an issue for the board at this time. Are there questions from other members? If not, I'll move that the Waitemata Local Board thank Gael Baldock for her tabled presentation dealing with items 13, 16, 19, 20, 21, 25 and 27, and thank Gail for her presentation, her attendance at the meeting. Is there a seconder?
Alex.
Alex. I'll put it.
Thanks,
those
Alex.
in favour say aye. Contrary.